I.S.C. Johnson, Daily Kingdom Vitamin. Good having this wisdom walk with you. The Bible says hope deferred makes the heart grow weary. Now, the waiting game in life can be brutal and taxing. Can weigh heavily on the mind, the soul, the spirit, the emotions. And some folk just give up, waiting on change. And life is in fact tough. Man born of a woman, his days are few and full of trouble, the book of Job said. I know some of you got a lot of questions as you get older. I'm talking to teenagers all the way up to our seniors in the golden years, and the waiting game is always a part of life as long as you're alive. When will things get better? Will I ever find that special companion that loves God and is sensitive and compassionate and intelligent and, just really is wanting to share life and going forth toward destiny? Will I ever find that special woman, that special man, a special person, to share the rest of my life with? And, the problem with waiting for change, things to change and to unfold, some of it we got to go out and get and sort of make happen, step out on faith after we felt the leading of the Lord. And sometimes it's just waiting on the Lord, waiting patiently on the Lord. He knows what's best. And so the race isn't given to the swift or to the strong, but time and chance happens to them both, right? So we have to trust that our steps are ordered. And I know it gets tough and taxing. The thing of it is, you can't allow that, that waiting, it makes you sad. And then sad starts to compound itself. And if you stay sad too long, it moves into, depression, along with maybe a little anger, a little frustration. And once that thing really gets into depression and, you don't come out of it or choose to snap out of it or pull your way out of it, then that depression moves into deep depression. And here comes that spirit called give up, quit. And ultimately, the ultimate quitting in life is self-murder, self-sabotage. Some people drink themselves into a stupor, get high on drugs to start living recklessly. And I know some young people who recently lost a close loved one, and it stung so badly that they just, I know young men go join gangs, start selling drugs, getting drunk, just careless, reckless, wanting to go to jail, wanting somebody to hurt them because they're hurting so desperately. And so that depression, man, moves into ultimate suicide, a slow death. And so I understand, man, life is difficult, but just keep living, man. I mean, a tremendous amount can happen in 24 hours. I mean, Fred Hammond sung that song late in the midnight hour. God can turn all things around for us. And so we look at Paul and Silas in the book of Acts, how they were in prison, man, and at midnight he just sent an earthquake and shook not just Paul and Silas's prison doors open and broke them from their fetters and chains, but everybody in that prison was freed because they sang praises and they prayed. A lot of times he'll send you through some conflict and hardship. Come on. He'll send you through some difficult times because others are watching and you're connected to other people. But if you can remain faithful when he brings you out, because they're connected to you, you'll pull them out. And so I'm thankful to him because he pushed and pulled me out of many things in my life, you know what I mean? And that experience I was able to share with others, and it broke the chains and shackles that they were going through. But hang in there, man. Change is coming. I know a change is going to come. Things will get better. You got the highs of life, the lows of life. Nobody needs to tell you to dance and celebrate, thank God, and be happy, full of joy when you get the new car, the new home, you get the blessing, your ship comes in. Things work out the way you want and the way you plan. And then nobody needs to tell you, how difficult it is and the tears that swell up in your face when, the bottom falls out. You know how to deal with both. You cry and you rejoice. It's that middle ground, man. It's that time when, I ain't sad, I ain't rejoicing. I got, I'm keeping my head above water. I'm just maintaining. And let me tell you this, be encouraged, because most of us throughout the 7.5 plus billion people in the earth, You know, most of us are impoverished and lacking and hurting. The meek shall truly inherit the earth. The poor you have with you always. And so there's always somebody worse than you. But the rest of us, just like you, are just trying to get through this thing called life, one day at a time. And most of us just right down the middle. Not too high, not too low. But there are people impoverished all over this world hurting in a tremendous way. And they're getting through life the best way they can. You know, if you got Jesus with you and you're with him, you can do all things. You can endure all things, in other words. You can be high and low. You can have and have not. Because really we've forgotten, I think a lot of us in the church, that this is a self-sacrificial life. We have to present our bodies a living sacrifice. We have to deny ourselves and take up our cross. And we're in a world now where, in America particularly, where people just feel privileged, like something's supposed to just come to them and they're supposed to have just because they exist. And the reality of it is it's a privilege to have the breath in your lungs right now. Stop by a hospital, stop by a nursing home, talk to some elderly people, you know what I mean? And you'll realize how privileged and blessed you are. Don't complain. You could just choose that you won't. You know what I'm saying? And so count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your many blessings, you know what I'm saying? And just see what the Lord has done. And if you emphasize the gain over the pain, you look toward the cross the crown instead of the cross, you know what I'm saying? And you look for that tremendous blessing through the pressing, then it'll help you get through this day. But remember, man, we really are called to sacrifice our lives to be a blessing to some other people. So search me, oh God, know me, know my motives, know my heart. Anything in there not like you, get it right. Help me be a better father, a better mother, a better husband, a better friend, better son, grandson, granddaughter. Let's spend the rest of our days, man, encouraging people, putting our arms around people. It's a cold world, but at the same time, Louis Armstrong said, what a wonderful world. And so let's find that balance and continue to maintain, stay level-headed, look to the Lord for all of our help to sustain us. You might not have a big old mansion, a big old, the big Mercedes-Benz, etc. Whatever you have, be thankful for it. And until the Lord, and bless his holy name. He gives, he takes away. Peace doesn't come from possessions of things. You know what I'm saying? Peace comes from having our mind fixed on him. He'll keep us in perfect peace if our minds are locked on him. Isaiah 26:3. I want you to be encouraged. Continue to tackle life one day at a time. Things get better, and you'll go through again, but he'll bring you out. It's just the seesaw of life, but just maintain that steady course. Trust him each day. Sweet Jesus, I'll trust in you day by day. He's providing day by day. So hang in there, man. I love you. And don't let sadness turn into madness, increasing to depression, and this sulking and marinating to becoming deep depression, to where you're in despair. Yeah, we're cast down but not forsaken. We're perplexed sometimes, but we're not in despair. We're not without. He'll always provide. He's always the answer. And I want you to be encouraged, all right? I'm praying for you, and continue to pray for me. Love you.